video might be a bit biased, but I don't even care. To all the Pistons fans that are subscribed to this channel that thought I wasn't gonna do this video, are you guys outside of your minds? Like I would miss a chance to talk about the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons season preview. The Detroit Pistons season preview. It's about to be a good season to be a Pistons fan. I'm gonna be 100% honest when I say this. I've been watching the Pistons back since 2004 when I first started watching basketball. Watching every game of every season. During those 20-win seasons of Rodney Stuckey, Ben Gordon, and Charlie Villanueva. I've stuck it out through all those seasons and I have never, ever been as excited as I am for a season as I am this year. Last year people were sleeping on the Detroit Pistons. A lot of people didn't think the Detroit Pistons would make the playoffs. What's that? What is that? I don't care that they got swept, yo. They put up a fight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Even if you watch the games, you can't deny they fought the Cavs just as good as anyone else in the East. Even the Raptors, who beat them in 2 games. I will say the Pistons played them just as good as the Raptors, just because the Pistons didn't get a couple wins. Every last single game, except for I think it was game 3, was close. A lot of people are still sleeping on the Pistons this year, saying that they're gonna make the playoffs, but only as the 8th seed once again. You have to be outside of your mind think the Pistons are going to be the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference this year. I can understand, looking from the outside, I can understand why they'd say that. Let's look at what we got this offseason. Ish Smith, John Lure, Boban Marjanovic. I think I said his name right. To anyone else looking on the outside in into the Detroit Pistons, those signings just seem nothing too major. But when you look at those signings to what they bring to the Detroit Pistons, it's a big deal. It is a freaking huge deal. To all you non-Piston fans out there, let me ask you this series of questions. Let's play the Would You Rather game. Would you rather have Ish Smith or Steve Blake? Would you rather have Anthony Tolliver or John Lure? Aaron, I'm the reason they say white man can't jump Baines or Boban Marjanovic. All of those players are huge upgrades. And they actually have a solid bench now. Last year, I remember there were games where we lost because our bench could only score 2 points. There were games the Detroit Pistons bench went out and scored 2 points. Tell me a team that can win when their bench goes out there and does nothing at all. When you take the starters out, and it's basically like the other teams are playing 5-on-0. And yet the Pistons starters still manage to keep those games close. It looks like a very well-balanced team. They have many different lineups they can throw at you. Small ball that can go big. Tobias Harris has a full season. And Tobias Harris so far in the preseason has looked fire. From what I've seen so far in the preseason, Andre Drummond now has a post game. He had a little bit of a post game last year, a little baby hook shot. This year it looks much more polished and much more refined. He still has some work to do, but it is leaps and bounds better than it was last year, and it's about 3,000% better than it was when he first came into the league. Contavious Caldwell-Pope bringing that killer perimeter defense. Hopefully he improved his jump shot just a little, but just his defense. The starting lineup already has enough offense as it is, so just his defense will be huge for the Detroit Pistons. Reggie Jackson, he's gonna be out for a couple of months with like knee tendonitis, whatever, but once he comes back, you already know Reggie Jackson can ball out. Reggie Jackson can set flames to any basketball court at any time. You already know what you're gonna get from Marcus Morris. You get 100% effort. He's gonna come bring everything he has every single night. Towards the second half of the year last year, the man was pure flame, especially from 3. The man almost couldn't miss last year. And from what I've seen from basically like the 1 game he's played in the preseason because he fouled out in like 10 minutes against the San Antonio Spurs, that doesn't seem to have changed at all. Overall, you look at this Pistons and then you look at the Eastern Conference. Right now, the Eastern Conference is basically this. Cleveland. Now there's like 4 teams that will be fighting over like that second spot. Toronto, Boston, Indiana, and Detroit. Those are the other teams that could give Cleveland some problem. And between those 4 teams right now, those teams, even from my eyes, even though I'm a Pistons fan, I know I'm a bit biased, I have to say that those teams will be just about even when the seasons come. Don't be surprised if when the final standings come out and the playoffs start, it was only like a 1 or 2 games separating all those teams from numbers 2 through 5 in the standing. Or it could be like last year where there was a 4-way tie again, except instead of 3 through 6, it'll be 2 through 5. I've said this a lot and I'm gonna say it again. Within 5 years, another championship will be going up at the Palace of Auburn Hills.